was becoming human to who? Those who faithfully accept it. Let me read on. Since we, meaning we Catholic bishops, have formulated these things. They're telling you in their own document they made all this stuff up. They're telling you in their own document. Now, most of us black folk don't know nothing about this. Okay, because we wasn't here when this was done. I mean, here in America. Since we formulated these things with all possible accuracy and attention, in other words, we did the best we could at creating this doctrine, this religion, the sacred and universal synod decrees, read it, what does it say? No one is what? Permitted to produce, or even to write down, or compose any other creed. Now check this part out, what? Or to think or teach otherwise.
All right, make it plain.
Go do your own research. Who gives them the right to tell you that you can't even think anything other than what we have decided for you to think? Damn. It goes on to say, as for those who dare either to compose another creed, or even to promulgate, or to teach or hand down another creed, for those who wish to convert to a recognition of the truth from Hellenism or from Judaism or from any kind of heresy at all. If they be bishops or clerics, the bishops are to be deposed from the episcopacy, and the clerics from the clergy. If they be monks or layfolk, they are to be anathematized. That's the Roman Catholic Church's way of saying a contract to be put out on it. Now, I just told you about the Dark Age, 500 AD. Let me tell you about that, because that's important for your timeline. It's important to understand this timeline. From 500 AD, what year was the Council of Chalcedon again? 451, right. So now the Roman Catholic Church comes up with this law, canonized law, that no one is allowed to think anything other than what we've decreed. And of course, in case you didn't know it, in 325 AD, it was the Council of Nicaea. I think I may have a DVD over there. The Council of Nicaea, where they created Jesus. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 318 Roman Catholic bishops. Yes, sir. So they're saying, with these concepts, these ideas, this religion that we created, no one is allowed to even think anything other than this. So in 500 AD, to make sure that their program would be perpetual, they thrust the then known world into what was called the Dark Ages. Now, what was dark about it? The suppression of information. That's it. That's right. The white man literally decided, this is what we've made up, and the only way to be sure that it survives is go destroy all other evidence of the truth. That's right. So they destroyed the libraries in Egypt. They got rid of all of the sacred writings of our ancestors. Are y'all following me, people? And anyone who was found with a copy of the ancient writings was put to death, man. And for a period of 1,000 years, they had this campaign of suppressing the truth. And at the end of the 1,000 years, in 1500 AD, they came out of the Dark Ages with something called the Renaissance. Yes, yes. A new way of thinking. Yes. And of course, this new Renaissance had their lie that all of us was born into. Yes. Am I making sense, y'all?
Yes, sir.
1500 AD, and then a few years later, they came out with the Geneva Bible. And then Jimmy Stewart didn't like that Bible. So in 1611, actually started in 1600, he had his own done. Called the King James Version. Which was completed in 1611. Y'all all right? Yeah. Circle if you need to. I'm on a roll now. Now see, in theology, this is what I was taught all my life in school. That over a period of 1,600 years, follow this, over a period of 1,600 years, God used 40 different authors over 1,600 years to compile the Bible. Right, brother? That's what I was taught. And guess what? That's what I preached. You know why I preached that? Everybody say, because the mind can't teach what it doesn't know. It's the only thing we can do, man. That's what I was taught, so that's what I taught. And the truth of the matter was, it wasn't 40 authors over 1,600 years. In the year 1600, James Stewart, King of England, chose approximately 40 of his so-called scholars to write the Bible. In the year 1600, it was completed in 1611. It was called the King James Version of the Bible. And guess what, y'all? It is still the authorized version today. Not because it is so accurate, but because the Masonic Order uses it as their textbook. That's another lecture in and of itself. Let's understand our crisis. Let's understand our warfare. Our categories of warfare are many. We got domestic issues we got to deal with. Some of you guys sitting in here looking at me right now, man, you look great, but your home is horrible. Some of y'all don't even want to go home after you leave here. Some of y'all going to find somewhere else to go, so you got to go deal with that. Y'all know it's the truth. Some of y'all get off work, y'all go get something to drink. Y'all go to the bar and sit in the bar instead of going home, but you want to deal with that. Some of your economic crises is messed up. Some of us are social, our academic, political, psychological, emotional, personal, spiritual issues we're dealing with, man. We must understand, and follow this, this is important. I'm getting ready to get real dangerous now. We must understand that whenever any person or group of persons in a position of great power and without full knowledge and consent of the public uses their power and methodologies for economic conquest, it must be understood that a state of domestic warfare exists between the said person or group of persons and the communities victimized by their tactics. Look at the person next to you and say, we're at war.
We are at war.
We Africans are at war. The problem is we're the only ones who don't know it. We've been at war for a long time, people. The powers that be have declared a state of warfare on us.
That's right.
And if your eyes are open, you can see it in academics.
Yes, sir.
You can see it in your home. Let me deal with this for a moment. Because see, some of you guys are going through changes in your home and you're blaming one another for what the powers that be are doing in your house.
Yes, sir.
The objective of the pathology of criminal behavior. I just did a 4-part series. I think I got the DVDs over there. Dealing with ever since the Gen 6 thing, man. I did a 4-part series on understanding the criminal just us system. You know, understanding the pathology of criminal behavior in urban America. You know, the real agenda behind the juvenile crime bills. Brothers and sisters, in case y'all don't know this, the very next day after the March on Jenner, the very next day, the March on Jenner was on a Thursday. The very next day, the United States Senate passed what is called the Gang Abatement and Prevention Act. I got that information over there. Y'all need to get this and teach this to our young people. And see, every time we do, I gotta go here, I gotta go here.
Go.
Everybody say this. We must stop confusing activity with accomplishment.
That's right. That's right.
We are the marchingest people. I ain't lying, y'all. We put the military to shame. We do more marching, and after we march, we haven't accomplished a damn thing. But we get excited because it was an activity. I was talking to one brother who came back from Jenner in St. Louis. He said, man, I went to Jenner. And you know what? I'm serious. It brought tears in my eyes. Because I looked at this brother and I said, you know, it's really sad. This brother's going to go through the rest of his life. And that's the best thing, that's the greatest thing he can put on his resume. Is I went to Jenner. That's all he got to show. That's all he going to brag about. That's all he's going to talk about that he did.